All right, today I'm going to give you a walk around of the 2019 Stelvio that we just picked up. We got it in online after a search. I looked for a lot of different vehicles. We figured out what specifications we wanted. And this one we found in Nebraska and it fit the bill. We had it shipped in earlier this week. We've discovered some issues with it, but nothing that's too unsurmountable. What I want to do today is spend some time with you, show you the design, show you the inside, the outside, tell you what I like so far and why you might want to consider getting a used Stelvio for yourself. This particular one is a TI trim level. It's got the Lusso package on it, which gives you some nice finishes on the inside, including the crema interior or cream interior. And this one happens to be outfitted with some safety features as well. Also has these nice 20-inch wheels. I had originally wanted the 5-circle wheels, but I really have grown to like these wheels that are on here now. They really show off the calipers and the discs. And the exterior is Stromboli gray. Wasn't our first choice of colors, but it actually has, it's a very moody color and it shows differently throughout the day depending on the daylight. Middle of the day, it's gray, looks very gray like this, but in the evening or in the morning, it might have a little hint of brown to it. And so we really like the color as well too. Overall, it's an all-wheel drive luxury SUV. We picked the Alfa Romeo because we wanted something different. We didn't want a Mercedes or a BMW like everybody else has. And the market for these is such that, the 2019s, 2020s, and so they've taken such a depreciation or have depreciated so much that they're actually at a price point where you're not going to take much more of a hit. And that's why that attracted us to this car as well too. This one particular example has about 53,000 miles on it, so it's got some life in it. Our price point or our budget was originally $20,000 or less, and this came in under that, right around $19,000 for an all-wheel drive, 5-year, 6-year-old luxury SUV. We felt like that was a pretty good sweet spot for what we were trying to accomplish with a daily driver that still had some style and luxurious features to it. It made us feel special, right? We all want to have cars that we're looking back at in the parking lot or when we wake up in the morning and have to go to work or school or something like that. Make us smile, and this certainly does do that despite the couple hiccups we've had so far. Not necessarily with the car, but just the issues with this particular car in terms of mostly cosmetic things, but we're going to fix all those things. I test drove one of these a few years ago when they first came out in around 2018, 2019. And I thought it was nice. I think the one I drove was all black, so the inside was a little somber. But I really liked this gray color, and we really liked the cream interior that we'll show you in a minute. So starting off here on the front, you've got projection headlights here, and I do believe they move with the steering wheels. I had a 2019 Subaru that did the same thing. And to note with the headlights, they're pretty nondescript. The outer lens glows for daytime running lights, and then they are expensive, or at least I've read that they're expensive to replace, so hopefully we don't have to replace those. They're on the magnitude of $1,000 or $2,000 per headlight. I don't know if that's true or not, but the little bit of research I did said it's probably not too far off of that. So knock on wood, hopefully we don't have to replace that. The front end has the classic Alfa Romeo grille, which is something that we were really attracted to. We wanted to get an Italian car. We wanted to get something unique. I've always wanted an Alfa Romeo. Was talking to my girlfriend and said, hey, what do you think of this brand? And so we're super happy with it. And what symbolizes that the best is their traditional kind of like triangle-shaped grille here, or heart-shaped, whatever you want to call it, with their really cool Alfa Romeo logo on there. And then there's no fog lights on here, which is a little disappointing, but it's not a deal breaker, obviously. But you do have 2 large vents down at the bottom, and there's a lot of the computer equipment there in terms of radar and stuff that gives you the collision warnings and parking warnings and things like that. And then one really nice detail is down low here, these little pointy fins in the front, presumably for aerodynamics, and it just gives it an interesting side profile and front profile to what is an otherwise pretty clean front end, and nothing crazy going on with the hood here. These wheels are optional 20-inch wheels. I think it comes standard with 18 or 19-inch rims, but in our TI Lusso edition, they came with these wheels here, which are really great. They show off like I said, these black calipers. You could get painted calipers, as an option on these Stelvios, and a lot of them do have the painted calipers, and that was one of the things we definitely wanted on ours, was the painted calipers. We were hoping maybe for yellow or red, but this one has a little bit more subtle black with white script on it, which is, is growing on us, and we like it, and it kind of keeps the overall vehicle looking kind of serene and executive. And so that's that. And then, like I said, you get good visibility in here. These are really nice rims. And then actually on our car, the condition of the rims was a surprise. There's no curb rash or anything like that on them. Now, this particular car did get in a fender bender because there's a slight dent there. And the dealership we brought it from did replace this fender part here. So, but we knew about that kind of going in. They didn't mention the dent, but they did tell us that they replaced that. So. On the back side of the Stelvio, it's pretty basic. There's not a lot of embellishment back here. Overall, the car is unique enough, but I'm not going to say it's overly styled or overly flamboyant. You know, it probably could do with a little bit more excitement, but we're totally fine with that. It's got a simple rear tail light assembly. These really great exhaust pipes, so they're super big. They're probably about 5 inches in diameter, this outer decorative part. And there isn't an actual exhaust pipe coming out of that. They're not just for decoration. There's one on each side, which really gives the rear of all Stelvios a really nice look. And the way it protrudes from this plastic fascia here was really well designed and just kind of interesting. And you don't always see this done really well, even on BMWs and Mercedes and Audis and things like that. So score one for the Italians with their rear styling of this on a car that is kind of basic, right? Nice screen here. Rear visibility is a little challenging, but hey, just keep looking forward, right? It's an optimistic car. Get in there and just keep looking to the future, and you don't have to look back too much. Our Stelvio does have a power lift gate in the back, which also has this interesting little screen back here. We've heard a lot of people remove those. It doesn't bother us. We're leaving it there. What we didn't get was the cargo cover. I'm not sure if we'll get a replacement for that, but that would click right into there and go into this side. In the trunk, though, there is a really nice storage compartment down there. We do not have a spare tire, but there's plenty of room. And then there's also a, hold on, I'll grab it for you. There is a tire inflation kit here, which is really nice too. And it includes a compressor and some fix-a-flat and a nice little storage compartment for that. There's a nice binder for our documentation, a storage cubby. So plenty of room to put tools back here. It includes a towing eye, a Phillips head screwdriver. There's a quick release on the side there, I think, for the gas tank or something else. I'm not sure what that red cord is for. And then we also have, if you want to release the seats, you can pull this lever. There's an outlet and lighting. And we looked at the trunks of BMW and Porsche and some other brands, and the Stelvio's cargo compartment seemed plenty big enough for what we want to do. This is going to be, my girlfriend's daily driver, plenty of space for her, plenty of space for the kids. And so we think it'll be pretty good. And we've got other vehicles if we need a little bit more space or need to get a little bit dirtier. Coming around this side, we've got the gas tank filler, and what's nice is there's a little indent there so you know where to push it, and it auto releases so you don't have to fiddle with anything under the dashboard. I don't think anyone's going to be stealing gas from us. I've been driving for 30 years. No one has stolen my gasoline and things like that. So it's got a nice clean filler area, but like I just wanted to say, maybe it's a cost cutting thing or something, but I think this works really well versus having to fiddle and try and figure out how to open up the gas tank. Next, as we go inside, let's start in the back seat. Very nice finish, and so we wanted the crema finish or cream finish, and that we hunted around. We could have found red, we could have found black, but the red was really kind of garish, quite frankly, and so the serenity of this cream finish is very nice. And as we get inside here, there's plenty of space. I'm 6'1". I can sit behind myself if I were driving. Yes, my legs bump up against the seat there, but it's honestly, I'm perfectly comfortable back here. As far as bells and whistles go, you've got a couple vents and a couple outlets. Newer model years, you could get heated rear seats. This is a 2019, and that was not really an option at all, as far as I know. So with the Lusso edition, or trim package, you get the Crema as an optional interior color. Otherwise, if it's a base model, all you can do is get white, and I forget what, white and black and maybe red. But you get these really nice delineated kind of stripy seats, which is very Italian. It has that nice feel to it. And so that's why we wanted to go for this trim level. Not only did you get the light wood, which was an option, you can get darker light wood, but with this cream interior, you get these stripy seats versus like if you ever look at the base ones, they're just kind of plain seats. Really nice armrest here, and a lot of the Alfa Romeo logos and little Easter eggs like that, so that's always fun. So it seems like you get a lot of car, especially if you buy this past its depreciation curve. And then there is a panoramic sunroof. It opens up to about there, and then there's a sunshade that can go all the way across too. So that's nice. Then from back here, you can see the dashboard, and you can see that really nice serene Crema interior with the light wood, which were all options back in 2019. So when you're looking for a used Stelvio, pay attention to those things. Sit in a few and check out the different interior colors and see what resonates with you, because you can find the color combination you want. I will say this cream interior with the light wood, we had about 6 on our list, and we chose this one because it was in our price point and we were happy with how it was outfitted. We had seen another one that was green, and it was 2 years newer, 1 or 2 years newer, and it was $26,000. That was just out of our budget. You know, don't be afraid to set a budget and then go and figure out what options and what finishes you want, and then go get that car, especially if you're not on a timeline. We spent only about 2 weeks or 3 weeks looking, and we found this car and decided to pull the trigger on it. But you can see those beautiful cream seats with the stripy stitching on them, the nice light wood dashboard on the center console and on the dash and the doors. The overall styling on the inside looks really nice in this cream color. The red is so over the top, you really have to like that, but I actually still kind of like the red, but I just couldn't live with it day to day. And then I think the black gets a little bit boring, but you might be into black interiors, in which case, go for it. But I think the color combination and the different materials really shows off the design details. And it's not like this interior is super flashy or exotic or anything like that, but it does feel special when you get in the car. Yesterday, we added these black rubber mats on the floor, and we love them. They say Alfa Romeo on them. They'll do great with the snow and the mud or anything else that collects in there in the winter time. We're not going to necessarily drive this thing like off-road or anything, but it'll be great and keep things clean down there. There were cream mats before, and we just threw those in the trash because they were pretty awful. This trim level also has the Harman Kardon stereo, and that stereo is adequate. It's pretty good. I do like the detail that you get in this corner of the round vent with the silver trim on it, and then the Harman Kardon tweeter with the silver trim on it. The door handle has silver on it, and then you've got the black plastic, and then black leather stitching, or black leather trim with the white stitching, and that's something that you get on this trim level as well too. So if that's important to you, you're going to want to get the Lusso package on your used Stelvio. And then even the door has a pull, but then also a little cubby. There is some smart storage in here, and there's enough cup holders and things like that too. I'll move my legs over here, but you can also see the pedals. That's part of the package, so those are kind of nice and decorative. They have silver and black trim on them versus just being black pedals at the bottom there. Note, our glove box is broken, and I'll show you in another video the challenge I'm having with that. But overall, the center dash has a large screen in the front there, nice vents, simple AC controls with real buttons, including heated seats and a heated steering wheel, which is nice in Northern Ohio. And then, like I said, there is 2 cup holders there, and a really convenient little slot that you can put your phone right down in the middle, because you're going to use this USB port to access Apple CarPlay. And so that was a thoughtful touch there. You can choose the driving styles from dynamic to normal to A, stands for like economical kind of gas savings driving settings. does not do anything to the suspension, but I think it just modulates the transmission in a way to give you those different levels of feel. There's a large dial on here that controls the radio, and we've gotten used to that and actually like that, and the dial volume, so that either driver or passenger can work those things and not interrupt the other. So we're getting used to it. It's kind of one of the first cars that we've had that had that. Once again, this is a 2019 Stelvio. So all this technology is from about 6 years ago, but it still feels modern enough, especially with the Apple CarPlay. In the center console, we've got some USB ports. And one interesting thing that I noticed is you can take this tray out, and if your key fob ever goes dead, there's a picture of a key fob at the bottom there that will allow you to start the car with a dead key fob. In fact, we got one with a dead key fob from this dealer we bought it from, and I changed the battery before I knew about that trick. And then this dial down on the bottom there is actually a cooling vent. I'm not sure what you would put in there. You could probably put a ham sandwich in there, but because this tray is on top of it, it creates a cool little section in there, but not much storage. So like I said, a ham sandwich, maybe a pack of gum if you like your gum cold, that's where it could live. And then this is the the steering wheel, the driver's cockpit area. Really nice logo in the front here. And I am a fan of buttons. So there's some nice little laid out buttons without it being too crazy. Really nice analog gauges. I'll fire this up in a minute and you can see what the light show looks like. It's pretty basic. And then the start stop for the car is right here. And sometimes you'll see that in red. I think we can retrofit that red if we want to turn that into red. And I know the Quadrifoglio has a red start stop button. And then lastly on this side, just some nice detailing, including a cool little storage compartment so you can put your sunglasses down in there. So that's kind of neat. All right, let's fire it up and you can see what the startup looks like. We get a nice Alfa Romeo logo on the center console. Our instrument panel is lit up here. Like I said, it's a nice combination of both analog and digital. And then this is what the interface looks like. But once you click it into CarPlay and hook up your iPhone, and I think even your Android device, it'll switch over to a CarPlay looking scenario on the screen there. The only thing is you do still have to use this dial with CarPlay. This is a 2019, it does have CarPlay, but you have to use the dial to navigate. This is not a touchscreen yet. I believe in 2020 and newer, this is actually a swipe haptic touchscreen, maybe not haptic, but at least it's a touchscreen, and you can navigate without having to rely solely on this dial down here. But we have found it to be pretty delightful overall. There are 3 memory positions on this one, and power windows and mirrors and so forth. And then there is even HomeLink at the top here. We haven't programmed this yet. We've got our old-fashioned garage door opener, but you've got HomeLink, you've got the controls for the sunroof, and it looks like an adaptive rear view mirror that will have auto dimming on it as well too. One nice detail is the leather stitching on the Lusso trim package. It goes around the instrument binnacle and onto all 4 doors, and it's got the contrast white stitching and black leather. One problem we do have though is ours shrank, and we have to get that addressed and fixed. So it actually around all the vents and speakers up here, it's stretched. It looks really bad if we were outside the car. That's pretty common to Stelvios. It's pretty common to cars with leather dashboards. It's not happened on my Boxster, but it has happened on this car, and it's something that I do need to go get addressed. I'm really happy with the Stelvio. I think it was a solid choice. I really like it. My girlfriend likes it. We all like it. I think it's got plenty of space. Some people complain it's too small. I think for what we wanted to get into, it's the perfect size. And I think 4 adults could be happy going out to dinner in here and not feeling too cramped, or even getting away for a weekend or something like that. They could do that too. The sweet spot for Stelvios, as far as like included features and trim and stuff, is probably 2020 and newer. There was a slight redesign, I think, of some minor details, including like the center console and some other things, and even some mechanical things that I think 2020 makes it a sweet spot. But I think this 2019 is totally fine also if you're out looking. And the nice thing with 2019 is you can drop from the low 20,000s into the teens with your car. I would avoid the 2018s because that was the first year of it, and there's a lot of problems I've read about on those. So skip 2018, no matter what the price is. Go with 2019 if you want to be economical. And if you want a little bit more features included or a little bit more choice, you can go 2020, but expect to pay a couple $1,000s more for that car. Yes, overall, really great car. Really happy with our selection. Really like the color scheme that we got. I do recommend the Stelvio after just a few days with it. I think the styling is superb, if a little sedate, but still superb. Even check out these little, see the headrest that has the Alfa Romeo logo on it up there. So little details like that goes a long way. And I'm always looking at cars, and I looked at BMW, I looked at Mercedes, and we looked at the Porsche Macans, and this was the car for us for a lot of different reasons. It's very unique. You don't see them everywhere. And people come up to you and say, hey, what kind of car is that? And that's always fun to experience. So this is the engine bay of the Stelvio, and our used Stelvio has such a clean engine. It's crazy. I don't know where this car came from other than I know it was in Nebraska. I'd have to check the Carfax, which I did see and I looked at, but this engine is like, they did a really good job cleaning it if it was dirty before. But not much more to say. It does have an interesting little like buzzing sound after you turn it off, so I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but it's buzzing. But eventually that goes away, and I'm not too concerned about it. There's a little wear on this for some reason. There's like little felt pieces and fire shields and stuff inside and outside the car. But that's the only sign of wear I see under this hood. They armor all the heck out of the hoses and things. And then the release lever goes right to left, which seems a little opposite, but it is an Italian car. So, but anyways, very nice engine bay. You can look up the specs. I don't know how many liters it is or horsepower it has. I know it goes 0 to 60 faster than my mom's 86 Corvette was. I think it's in the mid 5s, 0 to 60 for a turbo 4, which is pretty amazing. So pretty awesome engine. Hey you guys, thank you so much for watching my design overview of our 2019 Stelvio. I hope this helps you if either get excited to get one, or research it yourself and figure out if it's the right vehicle for you. I can't say enough nice things about it, despite even any of the things that were wrong with it. We're gonna get those fixed up. So be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Help me make more videos for you guys. Help me share more of my experiences with these cars. And I appreciate it so much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. I hope it was informative, and I'll see you on the next one.